And we are live. Welcome to the NBA Strategy Show. I almost said Friday because I saw February on the screen. Monday, February 2nd, new month. Time to break this bad boy down. We did not exactly get blessed with a good one today. Now, that's okay. It happens. They can't all be amazing, but we absolutely don't have one today. 3-game main slate. We have a 3 o'clock Charlotte Hornets, New Orleans Pelicans start today because of the snow that hit Charlotte. So we have a 3-game main for today. Very, very uninteresting. But the key thing we need to remember is just because we don't like the slate doesn't mean the money's not still out there. Prize pools are all still out there. Whether you like it on 3 games or not, we've got a 7, a 7:30, and a 10. At least they're all still at different times. That's at least a little helpful for working through the main, but we don't have the 4-gamer like we thought we would. What's really crazy is how awful some of these games are. 218.5 total for Houston and Indy. 219.5 total for Philly and the Clippers. And then we get a 228 in the middle here, Minnesota and Memphis. And, you know, if you're sitting around today and you want to have some fun, there's a Pelicans-Hornets game at 3 p.m. Eastern time that anybody can get themselves to. Clearly not going to be a ton of stuff to talk about here. And especially on a day like today where everything is on the table in a 3-gamer. If you expect someone to play, that person is a guy you can roster. And that's what makes these kind of slates kind of fun. But I'm excited for it because you can, like if this were 3 games that lock at the same time, I'd run away from this as fast as possible. I think we're going to have at least a little bit of an angle to get to something good. If we want to talk about what the injury report looks like to start the day, that first game on the main, that is, Rockets Pacers. So we've got still no Steven Adams, no Kevin Durant for this one either. Isaiah Crawford, questionable for the G League note, just to put that out there, like, does he matter? No. But knowing everybody on a day like today does matter. For the Pacers, same stuff we're used to. For Grizzlies, Wolves. Grizzlies are 7.5-point dogs at home. This is where we're going to get some real weirdness. And if we're lucky, it happens super duper late. Because anything we can do to find edge today, we want on a slate like this. Anthony Edwards, questionable. Julius Randle, questionable. I shouldn't have to explain what that can do to us on a 3-gamer, but that's crazy. And it's happening on the Memphis side too. Triple J, questionable. So in the Minnesota-Memphis game right now, Anthony Edwards, Julius Randle, and Jaren Jackson Jr. are all questionable. Arguably the 3 best dudes in that game. Your mileage may vary on Rudy Gobert and where you want to rank him relative to Julius Randle. I get it. Or Triple J, I guess, for that matter. But, you know, 3 of the 4 best dudes in this game are questionable. Not to mention, obviously, still Santi Aldama out. Still Ja Morant out. Konchar's out. Ty Jerome is back. So that's there. And then we get Philly and the Clippers. Late night hammer. Embiid probable. Oubre available. The G League guys are questionable, and because this happened over the weekend and I haven't had the opportunity to make jokes yet, Paul George will not be playing in this one or for the next 24 or 5 Philadelphia 76ers games. Pouring out for Paul George until sometime in March. Late March, I think. Maybe early April. Anyway, the other major part here, the Clippers are on a back-to-back. So this is actually, in terms of a 3-game slate, at the very least, we're getting a bunch of nonsense that could help us. We've got Harden, who didn't play yesterday. We've got Kawhi that did. We'll see where that goes. Does anybody else sit for the Clippers? Don't know. Lots of stuff up in the air for this one. So while we haven't been blessed with enough games, we have been blessed with enough weirdness. And I'll take what I can get on a day like today. We have 4 guys. Hold on. Let me actually filter this down a bit. Give me 1 second. One sec here. Greg, man, calm down. You're reacting like it's not 9:07 a.m. Yeah. All right. While this gets settled by Rich right now, potentially, Steven hit it here. Take on the DeAndre Hunter deal. We do indeed have time. So let's take a look. Kevin Pelton, trade grade Hunter. I mean, on the surface, I loved it for the Cavs. I hate it for the Kings, and the Bulls are just like generally dumb like they always are. But let's hit this first. So that's not the right one. There we go. So Pelton went B+, Cleveland, C, Sacramento, A, Chicago. I see it slightly different, but not all that different. To me, great trade for Cleveland. I think they'll be able to flip Schroeder again if they need to. Realistically, I think they can probably keep Keon Ellis at a decent price. As weird as it sounds, I think he would have been easier to get if they didn't get him. But if he plays and plays well for him, he's unrestricted. He's going to get a lot of offers in the offseason. Hopefully they can keep him. I think that will be important. But I do think they'll have the opportunity to flip Schroeder either again here or, sometime in the offseason or next deadline. I have absolutely no idea why the Kings would do this, but they're dumb constantly. If they're lucky, they rehab DeAndre Hunter. It's always good to have wings, but none of that makes sense. And then for the Kings to have to attach picks to get off of Saric after doing the same nonsense with Joval and Saric, that's just bad business. Good for the Bulls. They had, $15 million in room under the tax. Maybe Saric is their third big, depending on the status of Zach Collins. You get 2 free seconds. Look, Chicago was always going to do something like this because they had so much room under the tax. I think they probably could have done a little bit better than this. I don't know why Pelton thinks this is an A for Chicago, but it's not like a bad move for Chicago. I think they moved too quickly to get 2 shitty seconds, and I would have went a different direction. But to me, the Cavs win here pretty easily. They get themselves out of the second apron. They save boatload. Not that I give a fuck about the owner's money, but they save a boatload financially this season. Arguably they're better after the deal. So I love the deal for Cleveland. No, there's just no reason for Cleveland to not do this. They're not going to be done. You do this deal, you're trading Lonzo at some point in time, you would think, or reflipping Schroeder. Like somebody's got to go in the Lonzo Schroeder bucket. Don't know what that ends up being. But yeah, I mean, the Kings just once again have a lack of understanding of how to run a basketball team. I'll never understand it. And then I really, really don't understand what the Hawks are doing. Terrible trade for Atlanta. Why do this? Why are you trading Vit Krejci for a guy you're going to cut in 2 seconds? I don't know. Even if you think Vit Krejci is like not the dude for you, there's better value out there to me. So I don't know. Why trade Carter when your guards aren't fully healthy? Don't know what any bit of that question is, but I'm certainly not surprised. Yeah, I think the Hawks made it. This is a great trade for Portland. Love the acquisition of Krejci. They are like second round picks for Vit Krejci. I'll take that all day. I think he'll fit in pretty nicely. Oh, you're talking about Javon Carter being cut for that roster spot? Holy shit. Dude, can you even imagine thinking that matters in this entire deal? Good God. They got 2 seconds, not sure what else they can get for a bum. Well, you just get more of a bum. The fucking Bulls stink. Take on money for next year. Get a first round draft pick in this deal. Try to get a young player back as well if you can. They got 2 seconds that will never mean anything. Try to use your money better. Look, there's a reason the Bulls are like the 9th best team in the East every year for 6 years. It's exactly what I'm saying. You can make a deal and it could be okay, but it could also be shittier. And this was the shittier version of it. So shout out to the Cavs. Shout out to the Blazers. I think they won. They are the biggest winners of those two things. But I'll tell you one thing. I can't imagine looking at that one and thinking, oh, I can't believe they got rid of Javon Carter. Imagine that being a thought process. Why would the guards aren't healthy? Why would they get rid of Javon Carter? Javon Carter, who, by the way, this season has played 254 minutes as a 30-year-old sixth guard on the team, coming off of a year where he played 320 last year. You know, that's why you get rid of Javon Carter, because he makes the minimum and stinks, and he's going to go play in China now after this. Why did they cut Javon Carter? Brandon, obviously you shouldn't know that they cut Javon Carter. Do you know why? Because no one pays attention to Javon Carter. I can't believe they got rid of him when they still have Giddey and White and Dosunmu and Herter and Trey Jones and Yuki Kawamura. I'm being funny with that one. Like, who gives a shit about Carter? Oh no, they only had Yuki? Imagine how much different that game would have went if they had Javon Carter available. Yeah, shit, he might as well go back to college. Yeah, the Bulls are, look, the Heat, the Magic, the Bulls, the Hawks in the play-in, this is the same thing we've always had forever and ever. There are a billion Javon Carters out there. We certainly don't need to worry about him. So, I'm not confident that I'm going to be able to break down this slate the way we want to right now. Because of this stupid game that moved, it's breaking some of our salary files on the back end. I think the boys are going to have to do some tweakings on the back, because right now I'm not going to be able to show any of this data currently. Some college players are making more coin than Carter. I would imagine quite a few of them will make more this season than Javon Carter would have for being in the NBA. For what is likely the final time that Javon Carter is in the NBA. Why did the 9th seed cut their 5th string point guard? Surely that makes no sense. I, for one, can't believe that the 9th seed got rid of their break in case of emergency guard for a break in case of emergency center and 2 second-round draft picks. All right, at least we can take a look at salaries for today. I think that would be at least a little helpful. So let's start it off with that Houston and Indy game. Because remember, no KD for this one. So we've got Alperen Sengun at 9,200 with power forward center eligibility. He is going to look so damn good, it's crazy. Then we've got Siakam at 8,600 on the opposite side. Probably going to end up less interesting than he should. Amin Thompson sitting at 8,200, and then we get a pretty big fall off in salary. There's an $1,100 gap between Amin Thompson and Nembhard. So it's this pay up pack of Sengun, Siakam, Amin. Then Nembhard's sort of on his own island, which I find at least a little interesting. And then you start packing it in with the Jabaris, the Tari Easons, the Matherins. Reed Shepherd obviously looks great today. You know, to not have KD out there, I think Reed Shepherd's going to play a ton. I think he's going to need to shoot as much as he possibly can, because not having Kevin Durant out there really changes the scope of the offense. They need Reed. It doesn't matter how bad we think Reed Shepherd could be defensively. This is not a team drowning in offense. The entire center situation will always be weird here, but remember, 3-game main slate. $3,900 Clint Capella playing 16 minutes is like a thing that matters. Like TJ McConnell on a day like today matters way more than we ever want him to. Just as I'm looking at it right now, why is Tari Eason shooting guard only? They're just making this up now, aren't they? Shooting guard, Tari Eason, shooting guard. Oh, that's the position. Shooting guard only. Come on, that's insane. I think he's a little sneaky, given that boom rate I'm seeing. Interesting game because it's the 7 o'clock lock. Because remember, you will have an opportunity to swap at 7:30 and at 10. We do have a ton of injury news just like hanging in the balance right here. It's a tricky one. Because for this one, we're pretty well good. We know what we want. Strikes me as a much bigger pay up spot. I want Sengun. I want Amin Thompson. I want Pascal Siakam. I want to pay up in this one more. Or get the value that I think is going to be like unassailable, like Reed Shepherd, Clint Capella, etc. Who do we think starts? We have it as Thompson, Sengun, Jabari, Eason, Okogie. I would not be surprised at all if Reed Shepherd starts. Or I guess like Aaron Holiday as well. I think they need more offense out there. I don't know if they'll do it. They should want Reed Shepherd to start. We'll see if they do or not. I don't think this is a great spot to start Josh Okogie. But good news is we'll have that one way or the other. Now, this one is just truly impossible to talk about right now. Now, if everybody's in, I guess like technically this is what it's going to look like. But I also don't have any faith that everybody is in. But $9,300 Ant will look great. Especially if Julius Randle is out. $8,300 Julius Randle will look great if Anthony Edwards is out. If they're both out, everybody from Minnesota is going to look great. Triple J being questionable is massive because he's 7,400 on a 3-gamer. I either want a ton of him or none of him. That's a weird one. This strikes me as a fantastic opportunity for Rudy Gobert. I think it's very interesting that Jock Landale is only $400 cheaper than Rudy Gobert. The level at which I would prefer Gobert to Landale is staggering. We'll see what that looks like if Triple J actually plays. And then you just get into this mess of mid-range guys that are fully dependent on everybody that's left and whether or not those Q-tag guys sit. Like someone like GG Jackson right now at 4,600 is going to be like mostly an afterthought. But if Triple J sits, he becomes a priority with an MPE. You know, now that Ty Jerome is back, 4K, point guard, shooting guard eligible, looking like he's going to be a pretty staggering value one way or the other. Same for Naz Reid, massive value at 6,300. And really, all we need is one of those two dudes to be out for Naz Reid to be like the guy today. He already is sort of the guy, but he could even be more as long as we get one of them out. Value's solid enough on DiVincenzo, on Vince Williams. You know, if I'm paying up, I like Ant more than I like Randall or Triple J, at least as of right now. But we've got 100 minutes worth of, you know, all NBA type players questionable in this game. This is the biggest swing piece of all of it. We could have crazy value in this game that allows you to pay up for everything everywhere else. The 7 o'clock and the 10. Or we could have none of these guys sit today. And the best value piece coming out of here will be like a Ty Jerome who can't really play a ton, a Vince Williams who's power forward only. What's happening to these positions? Why is Vince Williams power forward only? Vince Williams is 6'4", 205. He's power forward only. That's what we're going to say now? What? Man? These positions are so dumb. Yeah, Steven, he was a point guard as recently as his entire career. / shooting guard, if we want to go that direction. No higher than that. I just, what are we doing? What are we doing? Power forward. So him and Julius Randle are the same thing today. Because I know personally, when I think about Vince Williams and Julius Randle, it's like two dudes looking in a mirror. All of that news will be massive. I'm hoping it breaks so that we can pay up elsewhere. But we really need to set ourselves up for this late night hammer, of which we don't even really know who's going to be in here. Realistically, we should expect no Kawhi Leonard. But what happens if it's no Kawhi and no James Harden. That would be interesting. $9,700 Joel Embiid with no Paul George around. Intriguing as a 10 o'clock start. Bad matchup against Zoo for sure. $9,400 Tyrese Maxey strikes me as a guy that's going to go wildly under-owned for what today is. Now, I get it. The matchup's not great, but this just keeps striking me as a raw points thing. There aren't that many great options out there. And if I could hold Tyrese Maxey until we get more of that news, I like it. I have to assume Kawhi's not playing today, which will free up additional value on the Clippers side. But until we get that info, I don't know. Edgecombe's a tough sell for me. Obviously in play. Oubre's a tough sell for me. Grimes certainly has a ceiling that's going to get ignored. I don't know where that breaks. Dom Barlow, 3,800, probably a bit more interesting than he should be, just given what today is. Gucci Broomstick. Love to hear it. Yeah, Justin, you nailed it, man. Noted shooting guard Tari Eason and noted power forward Vince Williams. Sure, DraftKings. He did indeed, Travis. He did indeed. But today feels like a day where that does not happen. I think they're going to flip-flop those two, and I think Harden plays and Kawhi doesn't. But it's 9:30, and I'm guessing. Don't forget, we got the props tool, top of the screen. If you haven't used it yet, take the Stokastic projections along with our, I don't know what the best way to call what to call this is specifically, like I'll deal with that later. Take our sharp line that we create at OddsShopper, use that along with our projections, and build yourself out some bets or pick 'em cards, etc. You can set the weight on those two things if that's something that's appealing to you. So maybe you want 20% projections and 80% of the model. Maybe you want 80% of the model and 20% on the opposite side. You can go either direction for some of those things. I'm trying to get pulled in here. I don't know why I can't get myself logged in right now, but I would like to. Did I delete my password and not notice it? It's starting to feel like I did. Well, I'll figure that out later. Wanted to pull it up. I got myself logged out. And I think I changed my password before I did it again, which is annoying. Here comes Prince caring about all-star appearances like anybody gives a fuck about the all-star game. Who cares? Who cares who makes the all-star game? That's what I would love to find out. I mean, besides Prince, obviously. But not a single thing important about the all-star game. Be a lot. I mean, I think it's worse to put Devin Booker in it than it is to put LeBron in it, but nobody's going to agree with that. Yeah, if I'm Kawhi, I probably don't want to make the all-star team. I would guess most of these guys don't want to make the All-Star team. I don't know why they would. No one gives a shit about the All-Star game. And it's no longer an award that means anything. Could have all the All-Star games in the like. Does Jamal Murray want it? Yeah, probably. That's it. Nobody wants to be there. All NBA or bust. That's the only thing that matters. But yeah, I mean, if I'm Kawhi, I'm just like, no, I had an injury anyway. Can't help you guys there. But yeah, look, they're getting it wrong more and more. I don't know what this stupid shit is they're doing this year where like it's 2 American teams. I hate all of it. I've screamed it from the mountaintops for the past couple of years, and I'll say it again. You want to fix the All-Star game, make the however many All-Stars there are. Is it 12? If it's 12, make the 12 oldest play the 12 youngest. That's it. Just do that. If they don't get up for that, then they're never going to get up for it without throwing a ton of money on it. Make the old guys play the young guys. At least they'll talk a bunch of shit and care. It's the only way that you can create stakes, because these guys don't care about anything else for this game. So make it pride. Just make it pride. You think the old guys want to lose to the young guys? Fuck no. You think the young guys want to lose to the old guys? Fuck no. Just let them play. Wow, I think I would care less about a Stranger Things anything than the NBA All-Star Game. But both of those things I could care less about. A shit show that fell off 8 years ago and a shit game that fell off more than 8 years ago. Jonko Hill, I'm fine with that one too. We're getting slower. We're slowly getting closer to be able to do that. I'd be fine with. I think the players would be fine with that one too. But yeah, whatever they're doing now is dumb. So dumb. I stand by my story. Rank him in terms of age. Is that out? Do we have the rosters? Okay, so that's the rosters. Let's see here. I'm figuring out who's the oldest and youngest. Give me a second. This could be fun. I'm anxious to see what this looks like. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Should be this. Perfect. Okay. 12 oldest versus 12 youngest. Assuming this is correct and it didn't make any errors, Bron, Curry, Durant, Norm Powell, Siakam, Giannis, Jokic, Towns, Jaylen Brown, Jalen Brunson, Booker, and Mitchell against Murray, SGA, Luka, Maxey, Avdia, Ant, Barnes, Cade, Jalen Johnson, Chet, Duran, Wemby. Give me this. Who doesn't want this? Who doesn't want this? You mean to tell me those like 22, 23, 24-year-old dudes aren't going to talk mad shit to Bron, Curry, Durant? You think LeBron, Curry, and Durant want to step out onto that floor and get beat by those young dudes? Hell no. Hell no. This is so much better than the American team number 1 is going to play USA number 2 for a quarter. Then the world plays number 2. Then the world plays number 1. Dumb. Dumb, 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 dumb. This is where it's at. Nailed it. Who doesn't want this? Who doesn't want this? Infinitely better. Way more interesting. Stand by my story. This is great. Now, obviously, we're going to have to replace Giannis at least. Anybody else hurt? I mean, Denny maybe at this rate. You can't tell me this isn't sick. Also, pretty wild. There's a 5-year gap between Durant and Norm Powell. 41, 37, 37, 32. As long as the older players actually play. I mean, there's very little out there that old players think more than they just think they're always better than everybody else. I don't know. Like, to me, this is the only thing that would bother them. Travis, target score is exactly how every NBA game should be played. So don't shit on Elam ending. They should put the Elam ending in every single game right now and never play games like they do. That's the only thing they've ever gotten right, is the Elam ending, especially in an all-star game. But yes, the Elam ending should be everywhere always. The current basketball sucks. Steven, he's in the oldest 12. You're just missing it. Okay, that's the idea. So I hope you guys can join me on Old versus Young Island, which is not to be confused with Epstein's Island. Those are not the same thing. Folks, here's the schedule for the rest of the day. Since we didn't exactly get a gem for today's slate, here's what we've got. I will be up later today, 5:30, solo deeper dive. And we are going to go hard from 5:30 to 6 o'clock. Deep, dig into every one of the 6 teams that are playing on the main. You don't want to miss the deeper dive. Then Greg and Eric will be here at 6 to take all of your questions as we lead up until 7 o'clock. We also have one more for you today. NHL Strategy Show, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You get some hockey chats for this afternoon. I'd love to have more to add to this one, guys. This is a tough one to break down. The files are breaking some stuff on the back end, so I just don't have the data to truly dig into here. We'll have that throughout the day. That's for sure. Prop tool, single lineup sim, amazing on a day like today. But that's where we stand. We're back tomorrow. A 10 gamer, I think. They'll probably make it 8, but we should have a normal slate tomorrow. Although there is some football tomorrow that could slow us down a bit. But I think that's going to have to just be it for today, guys. As always, if you want to sign up at Stokastic, it never gets any easier than clicking the link in the description of this video. If you click that link, you can sign up through one of our partners and get a month for free. Whether that's a sports book or a pick'em site, you won't pay a cent. And all you'll have to do is make a deposit there. Very, very easy to do. I'm packing it in here, guys. There's just not enough here. Remember, tons of Q tags on this 3-gamer. And if you want to just have some fun today in the afternoon, maybe you're not getting out of the house, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, Charlotte Hornets, New Orleans Pelicans, showdown basketball. Get excited. I'll see you guys tomorrow.